jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out that more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
Shout out to the hottest chatter in the MF and Game, A-Side official. You already know. No negotiations needed, period. The first in the building, Carlos Rosado, is on deck. I see you, Mike. WCS salute. Salute to you, brother. This is a multi-topic. You know what I'm saying? Glitching as always. Spence, James, vague agreement. Crawford hate can't stop greatness. And then I'm going to speak about Jordan Fuentes, man, and what he had to go through in trying to compete for the Olympics and everything. You know what I'm saying? Kind of mix it up a little bit. So for those of you that's just pulling up in the building, Mike is on deck. Salute to you, fam. JD on deck. Salute to you. The OG Mr. Golden is in the building. What's good? So some of you may not know who, Jordan Fuentes is, but we're going to take a little stroll and talk about this young guy that's on the left and his sister that's on the right, Jolissa. Okay? So, let's get started. So let me bring this up via Boxing Scene. Salute the Boxing Scene. This is for educational purposes only. I want to take you to the article that was written. This is Jordan Fuentes and his sister. And it said, when an athlete wins the U.S. Olympic trials, it is usually a story of triumph. For Jordan Fuentes, his tale of success has been laced with tragedy. One of the greatest achievements of Fuentes' amateur career was eclipsed by the disappearance of his sister. So just to brief you on this, this is a boxing amateur coming up, and all of a sudden his sister went missing. He stopped training, of course, in concerning his sister and to join in looking for, his sister. So on October 10th, 2022, they found his sister. You know what I'm saying? After like a 65-day hunt to try to find out where she was, because she was missing. It said the body of Jolissa Fuentes, 22, was found in a ravine near Pine Flat Lake, 60 miles east of Fresno, California. The discovery ended a 65-day search for Fuentes, who left home one evening last August and never returned. It goes on to say, previously, they had believed she had been abducted, right? It said the whole time, I thought she was alive. Norma Nunez, Jolissa, and Jordan's mother recalled the hardship. They thought she was alive. We would go into the country and search all those little roads, literally all of them, looking for her, looking for signs. I can't imagine how that is, man. Oh my God. I can't imagine, you have sibling, right? And y'all almost, y'all close to each other, in age, boy, girl. And she goes missing, especially when it's a female, because the first thing a male instinct, our defense antenna raises up. We want to go out there and defend. We want to go out there and protect. And I can only imagine what was going on with them, man. When it's all said and done, his sister out there, and it's 65 days. I mean, you can keep hope that she's alive and everything, but it's just bad all the way around, man. They also go on to say, Adding to Fuentes' family frustrations was the call-in tips. You know how people can be, right? It's a that was unhelpful or antagonistic. Calls were made about the location of Jalissa's body with either false information or foul accounts of unthinkable things. So, some people taking advantage of the Jalissa being missing. It goes on to say, what really hurt was her being missing, Jordan said. It is just a different type of pain. You don't know where they are at, where they are alive or dead. I understand, man. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I can't say I understand or feel his pain, so to speak, but I can understand, how deep hurt him and the family must have been. Especially she out there with no sign and they going in there looking and looking and looking. It goes on to say we were just following any and every clue that there was, Nunez said. For 2 weeks, Jordan didn't train. He just was looking for his sister and trying to find her. Dang. Eventually, a call came in from Rudy Alcaraz, chief of the Selma, California Police Department, who swore to the family that he would find Jalissa and bring her back. He saw tire tracks going off the mountain at Pine Flat Lake, said Nunez, choking back tears. Once again, when you get that phone call, you know what I'm saying? You get that phone call and the tone of voice is just different. You already know. He said he saw tire tracks going off the mountain at Pine Flat Lake. Alcaraz called in a special unit to fly drones as part of the search and magnified the images, which revealed a hubcap. Jalissa's car was spotted and finally her body. Officials called it a single car accident and said a team had to be sent more than 400 feet below the cliff face for recovery, y'all. So after that comes the heartache. You know what I'm saying? Of grief. The heartache and loss of losing a sister, losing a daughter, Nunez said. Jordan started training really hard again, saying, I'm going to win for her, Mom. And that's exactly what he did. Now, Jordan was a multi-time national champion, and he was trying to put himself in a position to compete for the Paris Olympics. As you know, this is one of the last years that boxing to be a part of the Olympics, It goes on to say, the first national boxing tournament back after tragedy, I lost because I wasn't really focused, Fuentes said. Then I started training hard again, and I won the last chance qualifier, the Olympic trials, and the nationals in New Mexico after that. Fuentes wasn't just back winning, he was beating some of the best in the country. Fighting against Steven Navarro. I was a little nervous at first, he said. I talked with my coaches. I knew we could get him, and we did. And we won the trials. It said, yet, because of the shadowy qualifying standards, Fuentes would not have been a sure thing to participate in the Paris 2024 Olympics, which prompted his decision to turn pro. A 7-time national champion, Fuentes is now ready to voyage the new frontier of professional boxing, where he can no longer simply sign up for a tournament and fight. So from now on, Nunez said, smiling, I always tell him, baby, you just go out there and fight your fight for what you love. And your sister's going to be right there with you. It goes on to say Fuentes will be in attendance at the Save March Center in Fresno on Saturday to watch one of his idols, Jose Ramirez, of nearby Avenal, who will be headlining against Rance Bartholomew in his home arena. That's something Fuentes hoped to do one day as well. Jose is an inspirational, Fuentes said. For him to come from such a small town and to be packing arenas, it makes me want to do it myself. It says Jordan promised his sister he would be a world champion and help the family. Well, after she died, he went on blaze, winning every tournament in sight and doing what only Jose Ramirez has done prior, and won the Olympic trials recently in dominating fashion. You can take his word to the bank, as that young man is on a mission. A lot of people would have gotten broke by this, but you just have to stay strong with God, Fuentes said. So, since the tragedy, y'all, Fuentes' family has turned off into the particular Bible verse, Philippians 4:11. Chapter 4, verse 11 through 13. I can do all things through Christ which strengthened me. The passage reads, it's a reflection of the Herculean strength that has been required of Jordan and his love already, but also a reminder of the resilience they would need on the road ahead. I just thought that would be a solid article to highlight, Jordan Fuentes, because these boxers, they do have a lot of backstory to them. You know what I'm saying? I know we talk about the most popular fighters all the time, but, I'm going to start, highlighting the way it used to be for me, to talk about, other fighters, even though it get difficult sometimes because I just want to pop the hot grease and pour it all over these, but I had to, highlight this story because I was like, damn, that's just something that's just messed up. They say it was a single car accident, but really they didn't clarify if it was an accident, her, possibly falling asleep on the road or whatever, or her just running off the cliff for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Was she going too fast? I don't know if it was a corner or whatever, but God bless him and his family. And I made some of these thumbnails up here. It kind of spoke about the Fuentes family tragedy. So yeah, that's just straight up wow right there. So salute to them, man. Salute to them. I want to speak about Jerron Ennis before I get on the Diddy James and situation and all that. This situation is going on with Jerron Ennis. I'm not feeling no type of way about him believing that whatever he's believing. You feel me? Like I don't feel no type of way. I'm glad he was able to, sign where in a place where he can get that extra push, have that support, have somebody with him that knows what they're doing, that has a freaking footprint in boxing, that has the momentum, the engine, able to segue these fighters and get some good fights. I'm happy for him. But he keeps bringing up certain situations, and recently he had put it out there that he would be Crawford's toughest opponent. And I understand, deep down in some people's heart, especially boxers, it's hard for them to let it go. At the end of the day, when they talk about trying to match themselves up with somebody of the great Omaha Monster, Terrence Bud Crawford. Let's go to the article that was written. Shout out to Boxing Scene once again. And I wanna talk about this article. Jerron Bruce Ennis has accused Terrence Crawford of avoiding him. See, this whole article, I can't be mad at the author because I always read Chris Williams. Shout out to Chris Williams, the biggest Terrence Crawford hater that's supposed to be behind the keyboard out there right now. One of them. But he said, the publisher, I don't, it's no knock on them, but he starts off by saying Jerron Ennis has accused Terrence Crawford of avoiding him. I don't know when that avoidance was, but that's what he said. You know what I'm saying? Ennis was awarded the IBF welterweight title. Listen to this now. While he was the organization's mandatory challenger, to the then undisputed champion, Crawford. Crawford was stripped on account of his plans to honor his agreement with Spence. Okay? Listen. The rematch between them, the victory over Spence in July 2023, established Crawford as the world's finest fighter, is yet to materialize, and Crawford has since signed to fight Israel Madrimov for the WBA light middleweight title in Los Angeles, August 3rd. This is where it gets interesting. With Ennis on course to make the first defense of his title shortly before against Canada's 31-year-old Cody Crowley in his home city of Philadelphia, neither is entering a more appealing fight than would represent Crawford Ennis. And in turn, Ennis said, that's what it is. Now, this is where it gets and completely continue to be a little staticky for me. You know, almost like I'm looking at a bubble back TV with the co-hanger where the antenna used to be. You know what I'm saying? Because this has to be stopped. You have to let it go, man. You're not going to get no HD or 4K out of this shit. Because there's been too many times where you had the opportunity to say Crawford's name and you didn't. Ennis said, I want that fight. It's definitely was not. I wanted that fight. It definitely was not frustrating, but it was weird. I don't know what's going on. Boxing is a weird game, but at the end of the day, there's nothing you really can do. You can control it. You can't control it. So I'm not going to try. Most definitely, I'm Crawford's toughest potential opponent. I didn't know how he was going to do the jump to super middleweight to potentially fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. I didn't know how he was going to jump that many weights. I didn't feel no type of way. It's not really a mismatch. Canelo started at 154 and Canelo not really a big guy. So I can respect what he said right there about, you know, it's not really, I didn't feel no type of way. It's not really a mismatch. I understand that's boxing talk. That's boxing talk. I like that. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I can respect that he understands that it's not really a mismatch. It's definitely not how I wanted it. Jerron goes on to say, I'd rather take it from somebody. Now he's talking about his IBF World Championship. There's nothing I can do. I couldn't say no. I couldn't say yes. They just elevated me. Now, it's hard for me and a lot of other people that consider themselves to be boxing aficionados and earth humans. Earth, what they call it, earth beings. You know what I'm saying? Those individuals that call themselves earth beings. There's been following boxing for quite some time. Now, you know, in certain situations, especially this, it seems like it was a choice. How it all played out, how Spence stayed locked into a contract long enough for Boots to get this IBF, and Boots and them really wasn't complaining about the way they received it. You know what I'm saying? He said he couldn't say no, he couldn't say yes. But, you know, trying to say that they just elevated you and your hands was just up in the air, palms to the front, like, hey, I'm innocent in all of this. I just don't see it because it seemed like a sense of urgency. The man hadn't even been a champion with the belts, all of the belts, 120 days yet. Well, all of a sudden you telling people that the IBF didn't let you know what they was doing. They was holding you against your will in a dark room in a cold dungeon with a leaking faucet. They put toothpick between your eyelids and put you in front of, they turned on a goddamn fan in front of you. And said, we want you to see what we're about to accomplish here. You deserve it. You don't have to torture me to do it. You know, you are not understanding. He couldn't say yes, he couldn't say no, whatever the case may be, but IBF had definitely contacted your people and let you know that was happening, how it was going down. You definitely knew, big dog. It goes on to say, they just elevated me. Nothing I can do, but I'm going to defend the belt and do what I need to do. look, I'm kind of over how he got the belt because I believe Errol Spence had something to do with locking Terrence Crawford down until this whole situation was over because they pretty much sent a dead end, to Crawford. They sent the dead end. Crawford was locked in contractually for a rematch. So, the IBF is sending that out there. The man's locked in contractually, and what the answer is going to be. So you definitely understood that the belt would be coming to you, and you wasn't putting up any resistance. But I ain't mad at Ennis, man. I'm not going to keep on hyping. I've never been mad at him. I'm just giving him criticism just like I'll do any fighter who freaking picked up the belt that way. And your name is supposed to be the phenom. It goes on to say Crawford Crowley will be in his first fight in Philadelphia. Crawford Crowley. Don't know what that is. Crawford Crowley will be in his first fight in Philadelphia since 2018. And he believed that what historically was one of the Americans' leading fighting cities can build not only on his success, but the reaction he is expecting from his friend Stephen Fulton will Fulton return from his defeat by Naoya Inoue. And I don't know what they mean by Crawford Crowley because Crawford's not fighting in Philly. But I am happy that Boots is going to headline the card over there. And just like I always say about Philly boxing footprint, they don't co-sign on that shit with that belt like that. I mean, somebody educate me. Who else has been elevated to a champion? That's Philly-esque, But I'm looking forward to Boots doing his thing over there somehow, some way. But right now, you saying that you're going to be Crawford's toughest opponent is hard for a lot of people to agree with you on that because you haven't fought credible competition to put you in the conversation, big dog. That's all I'm saying. I don't mean at all to come off as I'm hating on you. I'm not like them AM guys who just sit up here and find anything to say about Crawford. No, I'm just telling you, like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Like I said about Spence, I don't see, your pops out coaching Brian Bomack, and I don't see you out thinking Crawford in the ring for 12 rounds. I don't never think that Crawford would come into the ring and we would have a performance play out like we seen Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. I'm just saying, I don't think Boots, you would ever get that gift. You know what I'm saying? That ribbon wrapped nicely when Crawford comes in there and he don't know what to do. He's just out of freaking his sanctuary of being a boxer who's well-rounded, high intellectual IQ when it comes to the sport. And I don't see him just coming in there like he don't know what's going on against you. And that would be the only way that I see that you can put credence to what you're talking about. You're the toughest opponent based off who on your resume. I mean, it's nobody on your resume come close because it takes more than one man to kind of build up any type of, appraising value to say, you know what, his resume, it does stand up to what Crawford has done. It doesn't right now. So, I would go out on a limb to say, and it's, I held the aerosexuals accountable because they said Crawford ain't fought nobody. So therefore, they was believing that he didn't have any skill. I'm not saying you don't have no skills. You definitely got skills, and you definitely going to be a superstar. But when it comes down to the people that you fought, I'm not saying that you won't go in there and attempt to make it a very competitive fight. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying from what we've seen with your Korean Chudikin fight and being that Ramon Villa was tailored. I'm talking about tailored. Find the best seamstress out there, goddammit, making tailored suits. Tailor-made for you. A come forward, stand in front of you fighter, and all you had to do is just pick him off because he was way slower than you. You did what you have to do. Once again, I have no qualms with that, big dog. But how long is it going to take to just take that exit and figure out what you got going on. What's your destination right now? You're not going to get a fight with Crawford anytime soon. 2024, you got Cody Crowley coming up, and then they talking about Crawford coming in here with Madrimov, and then potentially Sebastian Fundora, and then that workout with wins. He's going to be fighting for the IBF title in 25. He's not coming back down. Sean Porter said it best. That fight ain't happening. I'm just saying the fight. Who wants to see that fight? You know what I'm saying? When he's going for greaterness. It's not even a word that you run in, but for you, he's going for greaterness. He's going to be better than what people consider him to be right now. So he's going for greaterness. When you're going for greaterness, what's the point of you dipping back down in the division where you have already sanitized, clean, white gloved it, and there's nothing else there except open debts? And no fault of Terrence Crawford, of course. It's no Crawford. Crawford's paid his, but unfortunately, there's residue that's left over from July 29th with open debts. But besides that, man, I wish you nothing but the best. But how long, is the clout chasing going to happen? With adding Crawford to your conversation and saying, this, that, and the other. Now, I'm not saying you don't believe what you're talking about, but it's just so many fighters out there that would definitely like that payday. And I thank you, Jerron Ennis, you and your team for freaking calling out Ryan Garcia, because I said, hey, you should get on that Ryan Garcia wagon. Call him out. He's the one that's, that'll be coming up from a lower division that potentially get you your highest payday. That'll be a good look for you to fight Ryan Garcia. Defend your belt against Ryan. That's what you need, really, because from looking at the schedule and speaking with Turk Al-Sheikh, he told me, my friend, Crawford, he's going to be tied up, and and we got big plans for him, big plans. I say, Big Turk, what you want me to do with the haters that's still out there talking about, Crawford being blocked and Crawford fight Madrimov? He ain't no big deal. He's not even ranked. Just talking out their head. Tell them continue to talk, and we would do the walk. We're gonna walk all the way over to BMO Stadium and on the West Coast and put on the epic fight card, so they can hopefully, we might have some comp tickets where they can get some tickets. As long as they wait out there in line till the last minute, maybe they'll get to see the main event. But we're putting on that fight. We're gonna have an epic fight card, and that's all we can do. We're not worried about all the haters. Okay. All right, for sure. You still got my seat on the floor, right? Oh, no, my friend. No doubt. Absolutely, my friend. You're on the floor, close to the apron where you can trip a referee. Okay. All right, cool. But hey, I'm gonna holler at you later, though. Okay, I'll hit you up later. But for you, Ennis, man, I'm gonna let you. You know what I'm saying? I just had to speak on that because I was quite befuddled that this article was written and you said you most definitely Crawford's toughest opponent, but we're trying to piece together like what opponents. Maybe if we can bind 3, 4, 5, 6 humans together and add a little bit of DNA from some of the past greats, if we can exhume their bodies, of course, and turn you into one of those elite humans. You know what I'm saying? Maybe put you in the lab, try to take a freaking silverback or take a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a raptor, or some type of I'm talking about mythical creature. Grab some tendons out of their cadavers, see if they can somehow get a blood flow in the humans. Just create this epic human being to go in there and beat Terrence Crawford. and make it look like you, that Jerron Ennis. Make it look like that's you. But this is a freaking lab experiment that they're testing out. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Spence that was cloned on July 29th. We want to see, because I was looking at your resume with a magnifying glass, real talk, and I leaned in and I went line for line. I was like, I don't see anybody at all that will make you the toughest opponent Crawford will have. See, and it's the only reason I'm saying this, and I'm gonna let you live, because you got you gotta put that time in to attempt to be great in your career. Salute to you. I hope nothing but the best for you and your pops and that gym over there. But check this out. When you say the toughest, you gotta always remember this, Ennis, when you're making that walk, is that there was a lot of people believing that Errol Spence Jr. was going to be Terrence Crawford's toughest opponent. Am I right or wrong there, chat? They believed that Errol Spence Jr. was going to be the test that Crawford need to basically either, one, with all the rhetoric that was out there, all the hate, prove that Crawford resume didn't prepare him to go in there and fight a fighter like Spence. That's one. Because he ain't fought nobody. It had been said over and over again, the strings are broken on the violin, man. Even the female on the cello said, I'm done. I ain't done. I'm not playing this no more. She's tired of it. Then you get to the other side where Crawford was always the top pound for pound guy in front of Errol Spence. And, his supporters out there believed that Crawford was the better fighter. And they was willing to go to war with the naysayers and the aerosexuals that was out there. You know what I'm saying? They got tired of stomping in steel-toe boots and cracking spinal regions because they kept, running into these people that say, hey, Errol Spence is that guy. He can beat everybody on Crawford's resume. He can do this, that, and the other. I'm just telling you, Jerron. Errol Spence at one point in time was supposed to be the guy to quiet everyone. He was supposed to get his opportunity, and he was supposed to go in there and demonstrate in Vegas that he was better than freaking Terrence Crawford because he had fought the Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia, Lamont Peterson, Chris Algieri. I'm just saying. Danny Garcia. He has some reputable, he has some credible names, His boxing FICO score was up there a little bit, you know what I'm saying? He had also extra points on the FICO for his popularity out of DeSoto, Texas. But my whole point there, Ennis, he was supposed to be the one that bring it home for Texas. And arguably, the only other fighter in the welterweight division that was more easier for Terrence Crawford to go in there and beat the brakes off of was Amir Khan. Amir Khan, he just quit. Spence didn't quit. Spence is a tough, tenacious fighter, full of courage, kept rising from the canvas to fight on each and every time, didn't hesitate. Hey, man, he definitely has heart. He ain't no bitch. But even with that said there, Jerron Ennis, you have to understand, if you put this word out there and you never had an opponent on your resume that even brings you close to experience the intensity of a Terrence Bud Crawford, you might want to have some hesitation when people put mics and cameras in there just for attention, because people gonna start looking at it like, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. Like you had the opportunity when YSM Sports asked you what would be the ideal fight. It doesn't get any more clear than that. And you said Stanthionis. That's who you said. I don't need to go in. You said Stanthionis. That's what you said first. And then third, you said the other guy. So I'm saying to myself, who on your resume has prepared you for what you're going to face in there Talking to Errol Spence on the phone is not gonna get you there. And I know you're a young lion, man. You're a youngin' in the game. You're a young lion, bro. You're gonna have the whole land. You got the whole landscape ahead of you. But right now, I'm just talking my shit, bro. And I don't see, nor did I discover anyone on your resume, any 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 people that can prepare you for what you're gonna experience if you stepped in there with him. So to say that he, you stepping in there with him and you're going to be his toughest opponent, but yet you couldn't find a plan B for Korean Chudikin. It's just, no, I just cannot co-sign on that, brother. You gotta read back through the YouTube, man. You got a very good media guy, very great media guy that's embedded. He'll tell you, just have a moment when you're not, in the gym and just go through the entire archives. They were saying that shit about Spence too. They were saying that he was gonna, beat Crawford up and Crawford won't be able to handle his power. He was too big. He's the boogeyman. And Crawford just made him look just as easy as Amir Khan. So it's going to take more than just the eye test there, Boots. That's all I'm saying. It's going to take something that the fight fans can't see. The fight fans cannot see your thoughts. The only thing we can witness is if you and Terrence Crawford ever was to scrap and he placed you in a point of darkness, how would you walk through that adversity? That's all. We will have to absolutely see how it plays out. We can't really prognosticate and say, okay, this is point blank period. This is how it's going to play out. No, we will have to see how do you handle when Crawford really starts to apply and make those adjustments and show you something you ain't never seen before. Then you're going to have to say to yourself, damn, I'm not the toughest opponent. I'm not his toughest opponent. Physically, I thought I was. But this guy's actually smart in the ring. Very intelligent boxer. Anyway, I'm off that right now. I got to get to these guys right here. I got to get to Diddy James and Mr. I know not what my number is as far as I owe you off the guarantee or the back end. Let me start this off by prefacing that trainers do not get paid off the back end. You hear that, Diddy? Okay. Also, I want to give a shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing. Appreciate you dropping that info. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, man, for dropping that info. So, Chris Mannix has dropped some fine line details about this situation that's ongoing with 2 black human beings. Unfortunately, I have to say my people, okay? Because I myself, since day one, when the doctors pulled me out and put me on the lamp, he said, yep, he one of them, for sure. And then I heard Pop say, is he mine? I said, Daddy, come on now. You know Mama been in that house cooking and cleaning. Stop tripping. Oh, I just had to, make you smile and see if you talk, you know what I mean? I'll be there for you, son. Don't worry about it. But Chris Mannix put out some fine details that I want to go over with you, if you don't mind. I know it's Friday and everything, but let's talk about some things, right? So we went over the other day how Derrick James is taking Errol Spence to court. And also Errol Spence is countersuing, you know what I'm saying? And he's putting out there that he wants Diddy James to pay for his legal fees. So Chris Mannix put out there, and I quote, here's some details from the Errol Spence Derrick James court battle, all right? And I hopefully this is some news that you can get educated, those of you that's in the chat, okay? It said the dispute boils down to Spence believing he owes James 10% of his guarantee. Guarantee, y'all, guarantee of the fight night, generally a low number, and James believing he is entitled to the 10% of whatever Spence makes overall, a much higher number, okay? Overall, it's definitely going to be much higher, y'all. Y'all agree, right? It goes on to say, Spence and James both acknowledged that Spence paid James $350,000 in the aftermath. See, he said the aftermath. He been listening to me, man. He's been listening. The aftermath of Spence's loss to Terrence Crawford. James claims Spence made 25, a million to fight Crawford, and James won 10% of it, or 2.5 million. Okay? So let me take a bookmark and put it right there. Most of anyone who tell you about trainers are not getting paid off the back end. What if the fighter don't get the back end? You know what I'm saying? And then what makes this even more puzzling is the fact that Diddy James, he kind of put himself out there as if he didn't have his business in order. And I said, ain't no way Diddy James didn't have his business in order, because all these freaking puppets out here used to say how people was bad for business and moving funny, when in fact, the very same two people that they was gloating about all the effing time was doing bad business. Let me get to this chat right quick. I'm just going to go through. First of all, get these super chats. Shout out to Big Bunts and Boxing with the $2 ornament on the tree. In the super chat, you best believe. Get the likes up. I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? So supporting the channel. You already know, man. Thanks for dropping that info. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for dropping that info behind the scenes, shouted for sure. The head empress is in the building. Shout out to your queen. Salute for you pulling up on this Friday. Hey, W says, in the bushes, enjoying the content. Hey, long as you listen, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. 918 on deck. I call AM Sports and Rocky and Bullwinkle Show. Man, come on, bro. Them guys be up there looking miserable as hell. And that's one thing about these aerosexuals, man. If you believe what you're talking about and your focus is on Crawford, why don't you smile more? Because you don't believe. You know, it's just like people getting close to the toilet all the time. You might have dropped something on the floor. You say, hold my breath. You drop your keys or something down to your phone. And, you know, you got to get close to that porcelain god. And you be all frowned up and shit. Because it might smell a certain way, especially if you're in a community bathroom. If you're in Quick Trip, Sitgo, Chevron, in the wrong part of the hood. You know what I'm saying? You smelling all that piss. That's the way they look. Arnold Brown on deck, what's good? I see you in the building. Hustle Man on deck. What it do, brother? Salute to you. I see you in the building. Shout out to my guy, Town Business, Sports and Entertainment out of Oakland in the building. What's good with it, Town? Salute to you, bro, for the $2 on deck. Making that Christmas tree light up, man. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all. He said, good luck doing the interview with David Lopez. Hey, man, I forgot to shout you out, man. I said, it was so many people behind me, right? I said, dang, I forgot to even shout Town out in the interview, dog. But good looking, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? Frontliner on deck. So it goes on, y'all. Spence and James have been operating under an oral agreement since James turned pro in 2012. In other words, no paperwork. See, I said oral agreement. I don't have to say pause. I don't have to say that Diddy shit. I'm saying to myself, it makes no sense, man. You got two individuals. You got two individuals that's supposed to be doing thorough boxing business. And we're reading this, y'all. Check this out. I need to go back to it. Spence and James have been operating under an oral agreement since James turned pro in 2012. In other words, no paperwork. Y'all got to let that marinate right there. I know I remind them of what they did, because They said it so many times like they was a part of the team that I couldn't understand why. Like, you're not a part of the team. You're not messing with the numbers, man. But yet you have two individuals that you was protesting. Anybody and everybody has something bad to say about James and Spence. They would stand up for hours trying to advocate for these people when they never had paperwork. 2012? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You was working off an oral agreement, and that was supposed to be love. Granted, also, it was 2 years that Spence didn't even talk to Diddy James. He didn't even want Diddy James to be his coach, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the principles of doing solid business. I always have to remind these aerosexuals that, it's something about them that always brings me to the short bus, the helmet supply, and the drool on the window. It seems like these individuals were all happy to wait for the bus that was different than the rest of them. The buses with the single numbers, 3, 8, 1. These individuals always used to talk about bad business and how much Crawford was making. Then turn around that these cats had a verbal agreement, y'all. And all of a sudden, Diddy is at his breaking point. This is the culminating moment, y'all, that he had the biggest fight in his career, and all of a sudden he want to go to court. Look. It goes on to say this, y'all. He want to go to court now. They had an oral agreement, right? It say when James say Spence told, hold up. When James confronted Spence, hold up, where am I? When James confronted Spence about the money last February, James say Spence told him he was not entitled to 10% of his total guaranteed purse. Further, James claims Spence told him someone named Al. Now, when he said someone named Al, I said to myself, I have no idea. Was it Al Money? I started to think to myself, I got somebody special in my chat that Spence is referencing. For real, I started to get hyped up. I said, I ain't want to be no snitch. I said, Al Money? Because they say someone named Al said that paying James $350,000 was generous. So that guy named Al said paying James $350,000 was generous. It goes on to say James claimed that in a phone call, Spence admitted that he did rob James of his full payment and agreed to pay the 2.15 million James believed he is owed. According to James, he never did. Now it gets interesting in this next passage. But just imagine this, y'all. They are going fight for fight, camp for camp. No paperwork, putting on the charade for the fans, not correcting these freaking aerosexuals out here who was up here, busy talking about Crawford as always, and failing to pay attention on what was potentially going on with the two people that they was up here could do no wrong. They was never paying attention to them, man. All alone, when you're talking about business, these cats had an oral agreement, y'all. We already know what oral agreements. There's a lot of people that has had their heart broken off an oral agreement, aka a verbal. Verbals don't mean anything. It's good to get it in paperwork, though. Why, if it was that long that they was together, all that time, why couldn't someone get some documentation together? And then we're gonna leave it alone. This is where it gets interesting, y'all. James now believes he was not properly compensated for Spence wins over Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, or Yardenas Ugas. He believes he is owed in excess of $5 million. Now, Diddy James believes he's owed $5 million because he believes that all along. Now, I always make fun of Diddy James because that freaking glow ball he got on top of his shoulders, right? I mean, it's like a 2-watt bulb now. You know, that should be flickering on and off. Diddy James is trying to convince me that the entire time he was with Spence on the oral agreement, that he didn't know if it was the guarantee money or the overall purse. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Diddy James? That you didn't know if it was the guarantee or the overall purse the entire time? Now you want to go to court and argue to the judge and present evidence that, well, when it comes down to it, Your Honor, I saw a tumbleweed blow past me and it did something to me. I said to myself, something ain't right. We got tumbleweed blowing through Texas, Dallas, Texas. Somebody owed me some money. I mean, come on, bro. Like, real talk. You're trying to tell me all of those fights. I get it. I get it, y'all. Listen to me on this. I get it. You know how I always criticized Diddy James prior to that fight, that he was so stubborn, he didn't want people around him, and he got rid of people, how he got rid of ILTBA, you know what I'm saying, who would have did justice for the media. He got rid of Blu-ray, you know, people who he felt that was basically expanding in notoriety higher than him, right? So I always get on Diddy James for not being the smartest, you know what I'm saying, just the smartest in person in the game. But somehow, some way, he was able to get champions and earn those awards and everything. Okay, kudos to him. But peep this out though. Everything that I was criticizing him about is what I saw, you know, in the way he does his boxing. You know, the one dimensional and how his fighters are having, you know, some of the same mistakes, the same flaws in their skill set, right? And then come to find out this man was with Errol Spence for that tenure, a long tenure of time. And he didn't want nobody. He didn't want to hire a CFO because he probably thought they were stealing money from him. They would steal money. He wanted to do it all himself. So he's going back several fights, y'all, and saying that he wants us to believe that from Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and Yordenis Ugas, he was supposed to get paid for what Errol Spence made in the total purse, not just the guarantee, the total purse, which anybody would tell you that's not the case. Training is supposed to get paid off the guarantee, not the overall purse. Do you know? Just think about this. Do you know how well trainers would be sitting and living if they was getting paid 10 to 15% off the overall purse? Like, I'm not talking about the regional cars. I'm not talking about all that. I'm talking about the reality. I'm talking about the reality. When you make it halfway, you're at the mid tier to the top tier, and your fighter's bringing in some pretty decent, you getting 10 to 15 off the entire purse. If that's, you know, no agreement is all set up the same. But you're telling me that a guy who I criticize for rejecting the idea to get more eyes on there, to kind of see, to kind of look at film. You know, this is a guy who said he didn't look at film, y'all, but obviously he didn't really look at his bank account and know, you know, what he was supposed to get paid, nor did he understand, you know, the agreement on how he was supposed to get paid, off the guarantee or the entire purse. He didn't know. But peep this out though. He said James is seeking a judgment of at least $5 million, along with punitive damages. In a counter complaint, Spence is seeking to have the whole thing tossed and for James to pay any fees, attorney, courts associated with this. Diddy James had no idea. Diddy James can teach a fighter how to throw combinations, but yet he doesn't know how to make sure that his earnings from putting in all that time and effort with Spence, that he's being compensated appropriately. Your priorities are off, buddy. Your priorities are off, man. It doesn't make any sense. Your priorities is totally off. It's unfreaking believable how your priorities are all the way off. You all are in court. Diddy is saying previous fights before now, that's a problem too, because I got paid off the guarantee and not the overall purse. You know what I'm saying? So all of this is going to look very, very funny for Diddy James in court. The judge is going to look at him and say, well, who's your CFO? He was your accountant. I ain't have no, you really ain't think I ain't have no, I knew everything myself. I don't need no money. I just thought he was an honest black man. Diddy James don't try to bring that black man stuff on here. I just thought if I was training another black man because his dad brought him to me. I knew him since he was way high. Hey, Mr. James, please save the old stories for another judge. All I want to know is, why didn't you hire? You're making all this money. And speaking about you telling me certain things, I did watch some of your stuff. And I remember you say how you don't watch film. And obviously you don't watch that there's people that get taken advantage of just simply off them not knowing how to handle their finances. And this seems like to be the case. That you was unaware of how your finances are supposed to be paid out to you. So now you want to go back because you're now leaving you're losing your star pupil in Errol Spence Jr. off a T-Mobile massacre. Yeah, I seen that fight too. And I lost money. So I'm just letting you know this what I'm about to render, my judgment, yes, it's I'm gonna get back some of my money too. Best believe that. But yeah, you're about to lose one of your star pupils. And all of a sudden you're going back several fights to say that you owed money from that based off the verbal agreement. Sir, does that make any sense to you? That don't make any sense to nobody. You want to go back in time to several fights and all of a sudden it's a problem? Look, all of a sudden it is a problem. Man, that's crazy, man. It's a problem now? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Blunt say, speaking on, I had sent you a link pertaining to them before the show started. Yeah, I really, like it was a hot grease moment, cool, but I just had multiple topics to talk about. So I wasn't going to make it about them at all. You know what I'm saying? I definitely would, highlight them in hot grease, but I didn't. I'm very selective on who I give, attention to, for real. But, I just had some other topics that I felt that was much more important, in my opinion. Andrew Charles in the building, but I appreciate you, man. As a certified YouTube lawyer, I would have to advise my clients to always get that in writing and signed by all parties involved. Well, I can say this, Andrew. I would basically give him your information, and if you can put your percentage, in the chat. I don't know what your percentage is for your fee for doing work. If it's like 30, 35, 40, 50, I don't know how high you go, but I can definitely put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Diddy need the source, you to help him out, since you actually follow the sport, and you'll be able to run down the timeline to the judge on how you think everything played out. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, he's losing his star pupil in the worst fight, supposed to be the biggest fight of his career, but end up being the worst fight of his career. And all of a sudden, he's suing Spence because of an oral agreement that they had. An oral agreement that they had now. And you want to go back several fights? That just goes to show you. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said, and it made sense now, huh? That shit made sense. Look, Diddy James do business just like his box wreck. He all over the place. He all over the place, man. Diddy James conducts business just like his box rec, bro. 2 Chainz, yes, I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Pull up to the club with the ceiling missing. You know what I'm saying? Dang, bro. Shout out to the one and only Jamal Neezy in the building. What's good with your Neezy on deck? I see you, man. Appreciate the $2 ornament on the Christmas tree, man. Helping out with the channel. I appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Feel good to be monetized again. You know, though I had some haters temporarily put me, you know, just partially take away one of my additions, you know, to earn something from talking on the sport. It's okay. I still came on and kept the energy. But I appreciate you, Jamal. You know what I'm saying? For lighting up that Christmas tree, man. Appreciate you, man. Happy holidays to you and the fam, man. Santa's on his way. Shout out to Big Bunks and Boxing with another $2 ornament on this tree, man. Appreciate you. Grease Bath, Diddy and EJ should know better. What they should know and what they actually carry out is different, bro. Just think about this, people. This is a guy who's been in the boxing game. He's received awards, but yet it's embarrassing to know that he had one of the star pupils in his stable, and they had an oral agreement for which he didn't have any clarification on the what side of the Mason-Dixon he was on. Was he supposed to be the guarantee, or was he supposed to get overall? 10% on what? The guarantee or the overall, bro? It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. All these aerosexuals up here talking and talking and talking. Only thing you heard, you would think these cats was in the prone position with a pair of binos looking at Bud Crawford every move. He go in the freaking, the freaking Publix to get some groceries. Oh, he moving funny. It looked like he having a problem putting his pen in. What's that he doing? Oh man, he forgot to he wasting plastic bags in there. He don't know how to, man, come on, man. He's just walking around and just act like he don't even know what a grocery list is. They were saying this man was moving funny, didn't know shit about business, but Diddy James, who was training their favorite fighter, he don't know if he's supposed to get the overall purse or the guarantee, y'all. Maybe that's why he was so frustrated with Crawford. Because, truth be told, WCS is just going to put it out there. Nobody else wanted to. I'm going to put it out there. Diddy James, you know why he was so upset when it came to Crawford's name being mentioned? Because he wished he was training Crawford instead of Spence. That's all. He knew not only would he have trained one of the greatest fighters of this era, he knew he'd be getting paid on time. Don't say I ain't never told you. Don't say I ain't never told y'all. Diddy, it took me a little bit of time to process that shit, man, in my sobriety. I said to myself, the reason why Diddy James upset, because he wanted to train Crawford. He wanted to take the place of Bomac, man, and he wanted to be the one on the side cheering. You know what I'm saying? He wanted Bomac to be on the side of Spence. You know what I'm saying? He wanted Bomac over there to feel that pain and misery. He was mad because he wasn't training Crawford. And he knew that Crawford was going to pay him on time. You know? I'm just saying, y'all, this is unfreaking believable. We're trying to, look, we got the aerosexuals trying to cheer Spence on, coming over to Vegas, talking about he's jumping in line with Crawford when he has other things is going on. He has open debts. He knew that him and Derrick James had conversed, and they was trying to figure out this pay when he showed up to Vegas. He knew. Man, come on, bro. Come on, man. You got news is breaking, but yet somehow somebody takes a picture of Errol Spence, outside this man's door. You know what I'm saying? Who's supposed to have cancer. I'm not saying he didn't have cancer. I won't dare do that. But all of a sudden, this news break with him and Diddy James having business, problems. And then Errol throws Al under the bus. I'm going to assume it was Al Puba. he snitches on Al Pooper, throws him under the bus, and said Al Pooper say it was generous. I said, I thought y'all supposed to be, boy, I thought Al had been there for you in negotiation. I thought he was there. He set them numbers right for you. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was doing what he's supposed to do. You know, when I heard the Errol sexuals, I have to also remind them that they was always bragging about how Al Heyman was setting his fighters up to do good business, y'all. They was doing good business. Now that's good business. You got Al Pooper behind y'all, the consulate. He's going to guide you in the right direction. And now, all of a sudden, we have a fighter and a former coach, trainer, in court. And when Al's name comes up, they say, Al said it was generous. They throw him, hey, Spence, throw him under the bus. He said it was generous. So don't be mad at me because of anything. Al said it was generous, so I don't owe him nothing. Spence didn't hesitate to throw Al under the bus. But in the meanwhile, you know, my whole purpose is to continue to, you know, to cook these Errol sexuals in the hot grease that they deserve, man. I want them to bathe in this hot grease like it's cocoa butter, but with some freaking wasabi, you know what I'm saying? With some cayenne pepper to it. You know what I'm saying? With them stage 16 hot sauce that they be using, you know what I'm saying, in these eating contests. You know, you got to remind them, yo. You have to remind them all the bullshit that they said. When they was talking about Crawford was potentially doing business with Daniel Cunningham, and he was, you know, he was being investigated and all that. Do you see how quiet they are when it comes down to reflecting on the bullshit they was putting out there? Bob Evans said he lost enough money to buy a house in Beverly Hills. What about now, though? What about now? What all this time that you all was going through the rhetoric, Diddy James wasn't sure because he fought Mikey Garcia before Terrence Crawford. He fought Yordenis Ugas before Terrence Crawford. Sean Porter before Terrence Crawford. He was fighting all these fighters before Terrence Crawford while y'all was online talking that Al Heyman sets them up for good business practices. And they are under the perfect umbrella. You had all these channels up here recommending to go over there, you know, and bow down and put your forehead to the ground, you know what I'm saying, and worship Mr. Pooba. But now we got two people that was associated with that's in court because of money. Two. The former face of freaking Texas, and people looking at him like he was trying to get over on Diddy. That's all I'm saying. They used to brag about how they have their own promotional company and Al is just setting them up for super success. And man, what other place you would want to be besides over there? It couldn't get any better. It couldn't get any better. If you want to be rich, you want to be successful, if you want to be a boxer who's going in here getting the big paychecks, that's where you should take your business. Well, guess what? You got two that's on the docket. You can't say Spence is 100% a freaking scoundrel because he did pay the man $350, which he believed he was owed for 10% off the guarantee. But Diddy James is claiming that Errol Spence did not tell him the entire truth. The whole truth, nothing but the truth. He felt that Errol paid him off the guarantee and kind of made it seem like that's what he was getting paid. That's how clueless it seems Diddy James was. Like, how can you feel like Spence is just getting paid 2.5? Like, I don't get it, bro. Like, what Steven Espinosa said may have been The only thing that I absolutely agreed with him when he put it out there to the public. Y'all remember when Stephen Espinosa said they have conversations that I'm not privy to? So some of the information that makes itself out to the public, I don't know about it because I wasn't there. They don't include me in on the conversation. Well, hell, look at this. I'm thinking they probably didn't include Diddy James on a lot of this shit either, y'all. I ain't lying to you. I ain't lying to you. I don't think this man had a clue on what was going on with EJ. And it's going to be damn hard to sell to a freaking judge. And you going back several fights and you're trying to get $5+ million off a verbal. Boy, you better hope and pray that you have a text message in there where Errol said that he was paying you 10% off the entire purse. You better hope to God that you have a text in your phone that you can bring that shit to court. Because I don't see Diddy James coming up out of here a victor. That's all. Andrew says very high. Well, hey, Andrew, I goddamn went up to 60%. You can't take 100% of the freaking purse, man. I said, goddamn, you probably up to 60%, dog. I had to stop at 60%, bro. It's sad, bro. Didn't realize that he was supposed to receive. It's terrible. I mean, that's what's out there right now. You got to look at it this way. You know how they used to say boxers, you know, they're some of the dumbest athletes because all they do is lace up glove and get punched in the head, and they're going to continue to get dumber and dumber because they're in the sport of boxing getting punched in the head. That's not true. You know what I'm saying? That might have been true back in the day because a lot of these boxers just getting, you know, fighting for any pay. But this right here, there's no way that you can say with the technology that we have and the resources that's available that someone that has received awards now, this man has received awards for, look, he has received compensation, awards, ceremonial compensation for being trainer of the year, and didn't know if he's supposed to get 10% off the guarantee or the entire purse. Come on, bro. Derek can't even get 1.5% of the purse. Hey, that's why he in court. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a hard sell trying to convince a judge that you're supposed to get 10% off the guarantee. I mean, not the guarantee, the entire purse. It's going to be a hard sell, bro. Yeah, man. Right, Dan. See, there you go. Dan knows, man. What they were saying, you need to sign with the PBC right now. He left goddamn Bob Arum. He's messing around with Daniel. He's about to go to prison. He could be facing 40 years. His career might be over, y'all. He over there messing with MTK. It's all over the news, man. Man. They was for sure that he should run to the refuge of PBC. And being that you're talking about a fighter who was freaking slammed, criticized for lack of business ethics, for him to go over there and attempt to do business with Al Puma, and also attempted to include the Sheik, Turk Al Sheik in it, to try to make the fight. And Al Heyman didn't want nobody else touching it. But the fact that he went over there with the resources that he had, the team that he had, and attempted to make that fight prior to him leaving and going to fight David Avenesian is commendable. Commendable. James can probably afford better lawyers than Spence now that he's getting a cut of the Ryan Garcia money. Hey, Andrew, hey, you talking that fire now? Because Ryan Garcia has been on record. What'd he say? I paid Derrick James more than what Spence paid him. Yep. He said, and I've been there shorter time than Spence. He said, I paid Derrick James more than what Spence paid him. Wow. My people looking bad right now, especially in this case. You know, on the flip side, Crawford, he doing what he's supposed to. You know, he about to go in there and fight August 3rd. But yet, if you up here looking at this situation, it looks bad. It definitely looked bad for those aerosexuals because they was up here bragging and bragging on what he was going to do to Crawford. But yet and still, he didn't even have his business in order. And I'm feeling some type of way because y'all still haven't cracked your lips open to explain to the people how could y'all just overlook this. Y'all wasn't focused on the right subject, man, the right topic. Your priority should have been doing a little bit more deeper investigation into your favorite fighter and make sure everything was cool. But they in shambles right now because of y'all. A pathetic fan base. And then you got two people who in Spence benefit, kudos to him, conducting business off a oral agreement, y'all. Shout out to him. You a smooth operator. Shout out to him, a smooth operator. You've been operating this whole time off an oral agreement. Woo. I think both of them was drunk when they made that. Hey man, I'm fucked up. What you up to, man? I'm fucked up too, man. I just want to let you know I love being your coach, man. We're gonna do big things. We're gonna get these belts. We're gonna do whatever. Yeah, man. Dang, that shit hit me hard, man. I told you we need to go down there and get a burger or something, man. Dang. But hey, peep this out though, man. You know, oral agreement, 10%, off that guarantee. Yeah, man. Hey, man, we good, man. We brothers, man. I know you ain't gonna do me wrong, dog. We brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? I got you, man. You say oral agreement. Yeah. For the entire time we together, it's going to be oral agreement. And, it's going to be 10% off the guarantee. We good? We good, dog. We straight. All right. That's what it was, man. I think both of them was fucked up, inebriated. And they was up there smiling, having fun, having the best conversation. And then all of a sudden, I got to blame Terrence Crawford again for some shit, man. For real. Terrence Crawford has been on my blame list lately. Because Terrence Crawford, he beat Errol Spence so bad, right? That Diddy James woke up and had a moment. Oh, shit. Man, you owe me money. I'm telling you, I blame Crawford, bro. Crawford has caused the demise of so many innocent, well, I wouldn't say innocent, but bystanders. He is the cause of their demise, y'all. He woke up Diddy James to know that it's some money missing. I mean, if you take a look at the aftermath of what Crawford did, somebody should bring some charges on this man. Not just for the freaking damn near attempted homicide, but they should bring charges on all the people that was affected from actually attending the fight, talking about this leading up to the fight, being a part of the community that support that fighter that lost the fight. It's a lot of variables that goes into blaming Crawford that he can potentially go on trial, man. They can if boxing was regulated, they could potentially hold him accountable. Because I'm telling you, like, the aftermath of this is insane. Now we got the team and the fighter going to court. And it's based off the fight he stepped in there with Crawford. Crawford, they was once again whining about how Crawford got concessions, right? So if Spence was able to give Crawford concessions, the coin flip, who walks out first or second, right? And also that Millie Mill that they bet each other in Oklahoma. Crawford got that in the contract before he even, stepped in the ring. That was supposed to be going to the winner, but he got that concession too, right? It's funny how, he was able to do all these concessions being bad for business and moving funny. You know what I'm saying? But the only one that was looking funny in the ring was EJ. And then come to find out him and his trainer, let me find you this. I gotta go find it. I gotta rub this cayenne pepper. and they freaking cold sore, man. I gotta rub it in the wet. Where you at? I know you. Hold up for a second. This is why. This is why it's good to freaking keep stuff close. Hold up for. Be patient. I know it's Friday. I know some of y'all about to goddamn get out in the streets. I know. Just hold up for a second. You know what I'm saying? I gotta put the disclaimer out there. Don't drinking and driving. You know what I'm saying? Don't drink and drive. Catch a Uber. Well, I don't know about no Uber. The way these Uber drivers and shit. Hey, just try to walk home, man. Goddamn. You know what I'm saying? But this right here, man. Let me see. Hold up, hold up. This the ultimate one right here. I try to tell y'all. I try to tell you it was done. Spence and James was done. I try to tell y'all, man. Y'all remember? WCS put it out there. Neezy, did I not put this out there, man? Town. What did it say? Warning signs, red flag. Look at that dude looking at Spence, dog. Look. Look at how he's looking at Spence, man. This was something else that was going on. Underlining issues. Look at how he's looking at him. Look. Man, don't no trainer look at no fighter that's beat up like that. I blame Crawford for this look. Real talk, y'all. I tried to tell him. I put the thumbnail out there. I say, man, something else going on. Spence ain't never working with Diddy James again. And people's like, nah, man. And they was over there saying what they say. WCS don't know what he talking about, man. He just a Spence hater. I even put it out there. It's official. He ain't going back to Diddy James. They over. No, they Spence and James is still, doing what they doing. They gonna get back and fighting. Well, I try to tell y'all, look at that. That man is staring Spence down like he wants to catch the fade. He acting like he wants to run the fade, y'all. He knew all the time Spence didn't show up for freaking training. He knew it. Look, Diddy, even though a partial part of his embarrassment is not looking at film, that night in front of all those people, he was embarrassed too. He was embarrassed because he knew, for one, that WCS was gonna be talking shit about him. That's number one. He said, "God damn it, that nigga." And then two, Crawford was whooping Spence ass, and then talking shit to Jamel Charlo on the side, and then had people over there in the audience just crying. Jerry Jones, that had his hand over his face. It was embarrassment, man. Diddy James in Dallas, Jerry Jones, all them Dallas football players showed up. It was embarrassing, man. And Diddy James knew all the times that Spence didn't show up freaking, put in that full camp. They knew all the times he came in and he said, "Hey, man, it's time to do a test weight. Hey, jump on the scale." And Spence said, "No, I ain't jumping on the scale. No, man, we got to make sure you within range. No, I ain't jumping on the scale, nigga. Don't ask me no more. I said 10% with a guarantee, nigga. You want to make it 10%? You want to make it 4%? We went off of oral agreement. I reduced it to 4%. Come on, man. I put it out there for y'all. What more do y'all want, man? James can probably afford. Okay, I read that EJ and DJ were probably drinking together when they made the deal. Oh, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. I'm definitely gonna have to goddamn scoop that up for later. You know what I'm saying? I have to scoop that up for later, man. And goddamn, shove it in the mouths of them aerosexuals. EJ and DJ was probably drinking together when they made the deal. Damn, that's a good one. I ain't gonna lie. That's a good one. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying when they was on that phone call. When they was on that phone call, man. They was up there laughing and stuff. Man, don't worry about that, man. We brothers, man. If it's one thing we ever do, as a coach, I will always have your best interest, man. Your father brought you to me, and I promise him I'll take care of you through thick and thin. Where's Spence's father at? I wonder what his father got to say about this. Can his father call up his son? Son, I'm the one brought you to the man. Come on, son. You're making come on, man. Come on, man. His dad gonna be up there sound like Boosie, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. What we doing? I thought y'all had got over this. You went 2 years without talking to the nigga, and then now you on money. Come on, man. Come on, man. He look at that Spence like you better remember that shit agreed to. Hey, man. Spence told Diddy James, it's over. You know, that's why Diddy is keeping his distance. James looking at him like, it's over. Not until you pay me my goddamn money off the freaking the total purse. It ain't over till I say it's over. It's over, man. And it's 10% off the guarantee. Don't talk about this again. Else you ain't gonna get nothing. I'm telling you, man. That don't make any sense, bro. Diddy's disgusting and embarrassed right there. He is, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, come on, man. He got embarrassed so bad to the point where he was all that stuff was just, that's a vengeful stare at Spence. Because he knew how many training sessions this man had gaffed off. And also how many times he might came and he was off weight. And then they had to be running that close to the fight card. Man, it's just bad, bro. It's bad, bro. Real talk. It's just bad. You know what I'm saying? He knows it. It's just bad. That's the ultimate thumbnail right there. That basically depicts how this came tumbling down. And who's to blame? Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Bud Crawford beat that man up so bad. They got money issues now. You don't hear about man Bud Crawford over there, you know, not paying. He just bought his whole team, the Jesus piece. He bought his whole team the Jesus piece. They was up there. Oh, thanks, champ. Thanks, champ. I mean, I put mine in. I say, hey, champ, can you send me one in the mail? Here's my address. I ain't got one yet, but I ain't gonna take him to court because we ain't have no oral agreement. You know what I'm saying? We ain't have no oral agreement. But them two right there in that thumbnail, Spence told Diddy James after the 12th round, it's over. Now, he probably put the N-word on there, too. You know what I'm saying? He probably put the N-word on there. It's over. I know he didn't put the on there and say, yeah, I said it. I doubt he said that. But he put the N-word on it. And Diddy was feeling some type of way, y'all. No doubt about it. No diggity, no doubt. He was feeling some type of way. As much as I want to continue to talk about that, I have to take that thumbnail down. And, I will close out with this right here, people. I'm not trying to continue to talk about the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia situation. Ryan Garcia put out, he made $50 million. Devin made $35 million. I have no idea if that holds weight or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But what I do want you all to start talking about, and what I want myself to start talking about, is the Frank Martin Gervonta Davis fight. I want to see that more. More than I ever did. It's not much being talked about because everybody's wrapped up in the drama of, Bill and freaking Haney and Garcia, and then include Floyd in there. I'm just going to say this. I don't like doing no freaking live on Floyd Mayweather, but the shit he was saying in there talking about the fighters these days worrying about, what they wearing. Man, I got so much footage on Floyd Mayweather when Louis Vuitton was put on notice for racism. And he was up here making a video talking about, I support Louis Vuitton. Man, how dare you come in here and talk about the fighters and how they always trying to pay attention to what they wear and shit. Man, Floyd doing that shit on purpose for attention, bro. He know he's the main instigator. When that shit came out with Louis Vuitton, he is one of the ones who is known forever and a day to be a freaking avid purchaser of Louis Vuitton products. Their merchandise. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So we should do this again another day. A shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. I know it's Friday. Y'all be safe out there, man. Yeah, Town. You know what I'm saying? Town know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I said it. You put the on that end. You know what I'm saying? Put the on it. Yeah, I said it. Bud knocked the whole PBC money train off the tracks, man. You know what I'm saying? Didn't he? I gotta stand on my 10 and say, Bud, you know, I've been blaming you for a lot of the aftermath, man, that went on. FEMA is refusing to even participate with providing funding for the Bud aftermath, the T-Mobile massacre. FEMA don't even want to get involved with it, y'all. But y'all hold it down, man. Appreciate you for supporting the channel. Hit the like button, man, if you so desire. And we'll be back at it again. I'm out. Peace.